this, and then you'll just have to remind me. This is Shelley Valett. This is October 30th. We're doing a host coaching training specifically geared towards the holidays and making our way through transitioning through into 2017. And so what will happen with the Zoom is it will turn off, and then what you do is you click the link that you use to get in here and just come on back in if we happen to still be going by that point. My goal is to not keep you terribly long. It's a Sunday evening. I'm proud of each and every one of you for being here. We have Debbie, Renee, Lisa, Eric, Carol, and I know there's 4 or 5 other people who are either planning to log in or watch the recording. So I'll post the recording afterwards. But host coaching. So here's the scoop on host coaching. Kind of just looking at, here's my idea for our plan for this evening, is kind of give us a little bit of a global look at host coaching and why it is so important to become a pro at host coaching, what effect and impact it will have on your business, to assess your host coaching. We talked about that a little bit, to show you a little how I know and how you will know a well host coach show versus not well host coach, and what it will do for you, and kind of some overview, big picture things that you can do to improve it overall. And then we'll get specifically into this time of year and some of the tools and techniques that are available for you. So does that sound like that'd be helpful?
Yes.
Okay, good deal, good deal. So there are, if you were to start like at the real basics and where it fits into the scheme, there are only really a couple skills that you need to master to be really good at your job as a pampered chef. The first is bookings. Okay, you have to have bookings on the calendar. That's where we start everybody out, is helping them get their bookings. Once you have those, then host coaching is giving your host the support in order to help make her party a wildly huge success, right? So that's number 2. Number 3, the third skill is the show. Okay, you need to have a really good show. And there's lots of ways to improve that. The YouTube videos that are out there right now are just stupendous for this, because you can watch excellent parties and just do what they do, pick and choose and take those skills. And then the fourth skill might be recruiting as a whole. You can break that up into inviting, or informing, inviting, and interviewing. Okay, those 3 elements for recruiting. And then that last skill that kind of supports all of them is follow-up, excellent follow-up. So if you're taking notes, you kind of have a list of the major skills that if you want to be superb at Pampered Chef. What are you doing? Are you taking my picture over there? Oh. Okay, my friend is over here taking photographs. You would work on all of those skills. And then most everything that we do, we find kind of falls into one of those pockets, okay? So assuming that you have bookings, and we could do training on getting bookings, but here's what I'm going to tell you is that my experience is that if you have all those skills, the one that will make the biggest impact on every area of your business is host coaching. Now, why would that be? Why in the world would that be? Can you guys picture that? I mean, can you tell, all right, here's when I know, if I've fallen down on my host coaching, I can tell immediately. A poorly host coached party cancels before it happens. It has 2 or 3 guests. It maybe just doesn't reach that minimum of $200 in sales. Those are the hallmarks of that show. Maybe it only has a couple of guests, so you don't get a lot of bookings, versus a party that's really well host coached is going to be 10 to 15 or 20 people will attend. The sales are going to be $500 to $1,500. And what does that mean when you have a party that's got, great big crowd and has all those people there? What else increases when you have that many people at your show? Throwing it out to you guys. What else would increase?
Bookings.
You have more bookings. Absolutely. What else?
Recruits.
Your recruit leads. Your recruit leads. You absolutely have more recruit leads. What else? Bookings. Your sales are by nature, they're more. there's more excitement. It's an easier party to do. Have you ever been in the room with like 2 guests and you're like, oh gosh, it's so awkward and I'm feeling like I'm putting pressure on people to buy because there's only 2 of them here and the host is disappointed, right? It's like, oh, the rest of my people didn't come. They said they were coming. So on so many levels, it makes it easier if you have a great big crowd. And the trick with that is to host coach real solidly. There are 2 goals of host coaching. Everything you're focused on with your host. 2 objectives. Any idea? Can you guys put your finger on what your objective, what your host, what the bottom line is that you want your host to do as a result of your host coaching for her party?
Get a lot of free product.
Okay, she's going to get a lot of free product if you host coach, that's true. But what are you trying to help her do in order to get all that free product? She needs to over-invite, right? Number 1 is over-invite. And number 2 is collect orders from people who can't make it. Everything you do about host coaching should be targeted towards those 2 objectives. Have any of you guys and gals, sorry, Eric, have you ever hosted a party? Have you been the host? I know for a fact you all have, because you've all been my hosts before you were consultants. So as the host, put yourself in the host shoes. She's just booked a party. What is the host most concerned about? She says, November 15th. Okay, I'll do it. We'll have a Pamper Jeff get together. What is your host most concerned about at that moment in time? Hi, Annette.
Getting people to attend.
Getting people to attend. I would hope so. See, Debbie, you're a good host. You know that's what you should be focused on. But what do you think they actually, picture yourself the last time you were going to throw a party. You're concerned about, will I have enough food? Is there enough space? My kitchen big enough? Right? Am I right?
Will everyone have a good time?
Will they be having a good time? Are they going to feel pressured? Oftentimes it's do I have enough food? Those hosts with a traditional host is just so concerned with not having enough food. They want to make sure everybody eats and has fun and all these things. So in the void of no host coaching, if your host stays in that spot and is working on and focused on having enough chairs, getting her china out, setting up, getting fresh flowers, or having her linens all match her tablecloth and everything like that. At the end of the day, come party time, she will have a beautiful spread, lots of great food, coordinating everything, and no one there. Because her focus needs to be on getting the word out and over-inviting. So tell me, have you had this happen? Have you had this experience?
That's what I focused on when I hosted, was wanting my house to be perfect before anyone came over.
Yeah.
I haven't had that many hosts since I started back, though. And
Okay.
she didn't seem to be concerned about her house at all.
Okay.
She had a lot of attendees. So
She did have a lot of attendees?
she had about 15.
Oh, that's tremendous. That's awesome. That's fabulous. So your job then as the Pamper Chef consultant, and I want you to embrace this. You are the expert. Between you and your host, you know how to help her have a fabulous party. And between the 2 of you, you are the expert. Now, if you're brand spanking new, Debbie,
Yes.
you've never done this before, and you're sitting there thinking, Shelley's saying, I'm the expert. She's full of it. You're thinking that, right?
No, I just know you and Carol are going to be right there next to me.
Well, this is true. And that's what
There
tonight
you
is
go,
about.
For-
So the very important take-home message here is that between you and your host, you do know more about this. You need to follow your gut, and you need to fake it. You need to fake it in this situation. You need to be not overbearing and not shrill, but you need to be the voice of authority between you and your host. So when she starts talking about, oh, we need to do another recipe, and oh, we're going to need a dessert, and oh, we need to make a beverage, and we need to make, and she's starting to think about food, and now if you let her run with that, you're going to be making 5 different recipes, and you're going to be frantic, and you're not going to be.
And trust me from experience, Debbie, do not do not let your sweet host get away with that.
Convince you to do that, because if you're not guiding her, that's the result. And ask me how I know. All of us have done that. We've gotten blindsided by a very powerful personality who's like, no, we will be having more recipes. The response to that is to guide her and say, you know what, honestly, if we pick one good rock crock recipe like the no-stir risotto, and maybe we do a super fast dessert like lava cake with the whipped cream maker, those 2, your friends will learn so much. But if we have more than that, they're going to be there until 3 in the morning, and we're still going to be cooking. And they're going to be so unhappy with the both of us. So let's do this. You hear me? My voice of authority. This is my voice of authority. My children know when I get on the phone with a host, they hear the tenor of my voice change. They're like, you're in your host coaching voice, Mom. Like, yeah, I sure am, right? Because it's your business. This is your business. You're taking and setting aside 3 or 4 hours to leave your family and go and do this party. And no matter whether she has 2 or 3 people or 15 or 20, you and she both have to do the same amount of work, don't you? You have to pack the car. She has to get the ingredients. You need to go and do the whole party. So she might as well have 15 plus people there and have $1,000 party, right?
So do you just give her a handful of choices of recipes that have a lot of features in them to make sure that you do cover a lot of bases?
Right. So we talked about this when we did your training last week. We talked about specific themes and recipes that I'm talking about me and Carol, we did your training the other day, and the 2 of us have done this long enough. I've done 1,925 Pampered Chef parties. Okay.
Yeah, it's starting to click with me as to.
Yeah. So we know what will make a good show recipe. And those are the ones that we kind of gave you a list for. So, if you're personally, guys, if you're struggling with that, post on our Facebook team page right now and say, I need help coming up with my list of shows, i.e. recipes, demo recipes that I'm going to offer through the end of the year. And we'll start a whole conversation about that. But it should be one main recipe that features a power tool. Power tools are rock crocks, grill pans, deep cover bakers, okay? And then maybe something else that's super small. Right now, my secondary little bitty recipe is that whipped cream maker, 30 seconds for whipped cream. I'm selling whipped cream makers hand over fist, and that's what's getting people to the parties. Okay, so that's a whole nother conversation. But between you, it's always a red flag if the host is like, oh, let's make this and let's make this. And your response to that, the voice of authority, here's exactly what you say. Ready? Here's what you say. You say, you know what? I know that you're going to really want to have a lot more food. The 2 recipes that I'm suggesting that we make are going to show them so many cool things, and that's about as far as their attention span is going to last. So anything else that you want to have made in advance, done before I walk in the door, absolutely, go right ahead, but keep it simple. And any other food you choose to make, just make sure it's something your family really likes, because you're going to have lots of leftovers. You guys you're going to be eating on that for the next couple days, so make sure your family likes it. Because I will tell you, people come, they want to do a little taste test, but they're not expecting a full meal. How do I know? Happens all the time. All the time. So let's make the no-stir risotto, and then we'll do the whipped cream with either some pound cake, or we'll do the really quick chocolate lava cake. But your job is to over-invite. So let's get you over-inviting so that we have lots of people there. See what I did? I reassured her about the food, and I moved her on to over-invite and outside orders. Okay, would you like to hear my standard host coaching spiel that I've been using for 16 years? This almost has not changed. Okay, here's the background on this. I got started in 2000, and I was extraordinarily fortunate. I was up here in the Northern California area kind of all by myself. My whole team is in Southern California. So what I did is I hunted around and I found some pampered chefs who've been doing pampered chef for a while, and I kind of glommed on to a couple people who looked like they knew what the heck they were doing, and I attended a couple parties. Just so happened that the folks I picked were really good. One was a director, Judy Wu. She's a registered dietitian like I am, and that's rare, totally rare. And she was excellent at host coaching. So I happened to get a really good education in host coaching. So I got really good at host coaching right off the bat. Well, I got started, and in my first year, I did 50 parties. 50 parties in 52 weeks, just about one per week. My show average in that first year was, sit down, hold on to your table, $1,017 was my show average. At that point, the show average company-wide was about $425. The whole world of Pampered Chef went out of their minds. What are you doing? How are you selling so much at every party? 1,017, over twice as much as the typical Pampered Chef. I'm like, what? I just did what they told me to do. They said I should host coach, and so I did. I learned how to host coach really well. So that is, and then you get a lot of bookings, you get a lot more recruit leads, you get happy hosts who go and get you more bookings, who want to come and do a show again. It trickles out into every bit of your business. So here's what I say. So Debbie, you and I just booked September 17th for your party. I'm so excited. Thanks for putting your date on my calendar. Debbie, you with me?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good deal. Work with me here, girlfriend.
Oh, we're role playing now. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't like using that word because it scares everybody away. So I just launched right into it. Okay, Debbie, would you like to know how to have a stupendously, fabulously successful party?
Yes, please help me.
Okay, that question is key. I just asked her for permission to tell her what to do, and she said, go for it. Okay, that's important. Before me starting to say, okay, Debbie, do this and then do this, you want to over-invite, and of course you're going to collect all these orders and go set up a Facebook event and be sure to hand out the catalog and the order forms and give everybody the link. I mean, we can get browbeat like that from our boss, our children, and our parents. We don't need to get that from our Pampered Chef consultant, do we?
No.
Okay, you do not want to go that route. First thing is to ask her if she wants to have it to be a success, and would you like me to tell you how to do it? If you've ever been to one of my parties, you'll hear me say that exact thing to people. So Debbie, yeah, you want me to tell you how?
Oh yes, please.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, Debbie, there's really only a couple things that you need to do. Number one, you need to invite every single person you know who eats and every one of their friends. Do this. See me nodding? Okay. Now, right about this moment, she's thinking, are you out of your mind? My house can't fit all the people I know, because I know Debbie knows a lot of people. Right, Debbie? Okay. And your job is to coach her and support her, and because she's going to be worried about this. She's going to hold back on over-inviting because she's worried that everybody will come. This is going to log off in just a few minutes. When it does, just click the button again to come on back in. We'll keep on going. So my job is to reassure her. So Debbie, here's what's going to happen. You're going to invite everybody you know and tell them all to bring a friend. But what I have found we have found across Pampered Chef over 36 years is only about 1 out of every 5 people you invite is actually going to be there to cook with us. Okay? So if you invite 40, we're going to have 8 to 10 people there. That's the way it works. I'm the voice of authority, right? Those other 4 out of 5, when you invite them and they say, oh man, I can't make it that day, you're right there to give them a catalog and collect their order, or give them the link so they can order online, all right? You're going to encourage them to get their date on your friend Shelley's calendar so that we can cook at a better time with them. So see, I'm sending Debbie off into the great wide world to go and get me more bookings. Cool, huh? Yep, she's armed and dangerous, right? Okay, so that's the crux of what I do. And every time you talk to your host and every time you communicate with your host, you're completely focused on refocusing her back on that over-inviting and the collecting of outside orders. Now, you might be doing this. Debbie, are you over-inviting to your party? A week has gone by. Debbie, are you over-inviting?
I hope so.
Sure you are. Okay, and you may leave it at that. Well, guess what? Party time comes and there's 2 people there. What did I do wrong in that case?
Didn't check in?
I didn't get specific. She might think she's invited 8 people and that's over-inviting. But I didn't say, Debbie, how many people have you invited so far? And if you tell me 8, just pretend, Debbie, I've invited 8 so far. My mom, my sister, right? If she's just invited a couple people at that point, I go, oh, wow, that's a great start. Well, let's check in and see. Did you invite? And I'm gonna take her through all the different categories. Debbie, did you invite all your neighbors? Sometimes she might say, oh, I don't know them yet. And I'll go into why you need to invite your neighbors. If they find out you're having a party and you didn't invite them, oh my gosh, they're going to be horrified that you didn't invite them. Okay, no prejudging. So did you invite your neighbors, all your relatives, everybody from school, work, church, the hairdresser, right? Oh my goodness, don't make their decision for them, just invite them. Okay, does this help a little bit, guys?
Kind of like going over the Frank's list when you talk to us about hosting.
Precisely that, exactly. There's so many parallels, Carol, between how you coach a consultant to help them get their new bookings and get started on their business and how you coach a host. There's a ton of perspective of commonalities there. Never prejudge. It's so stressful, and I'll tell my host that. Okay, so we are kind of talking about that over-inviting and collecting outside orders. Let's kind of move this forward a little bit. Any questions about what I've covered so far?
Hey, Shelley.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a lot of background noise and it's really difficult to hear you.
I can't hear the background noise. Is it, who's got stuff going on there in the background? Maren, is that fan on? Can you turn it off, hon? Might be me. Is that any better, Debbie? Is that better now?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, I can hear it a little bit. If you have background noise, I know Lisa's already unmuted, but I just turned up my volume, and I'll try to talk a little louder, okay? Alrighty. Okay, so here's the scoop about your parties coming up. So you want to be sure that, so if your business is really not kind of where you want it, if you have 1 or 2 scheduled, but you'd really like to have 6 or 7 scheduled, my advice to you is to over host coach. Take and do not just 100% host coaching job, but bump it up to like 120%. Really focus in and over host coach for the next month or so. Number 1, you'll improve your results and you'll get your schedule where you want it because you'll get more bookings. You'll get better shows from the ones you have. If you don't have shows right now, you need to focus on booking a couple and then over host coaching them. And you really drill yourself on implementing more host coaching techniques. I'm going to show you a couple of the things that I do. And I will actually ask a host When you see what I do with my host coaching, you may be kind of like, wow, that's a lot. And you're right. I do a lot on host coaching because I know the value of it. I just turned in my 10th show for October, and my sales are at $8,900 this month. So do you think that it's worth it to be a thorough host coaching animal?
Definitely.
Most definitely. If you want to count on your Pampered Chef paycheck, at this point, I'm the breadwinner in this household, so I need to be able to count on it. It is my sole income. It's my only source of income. So it's not, whether or not to host coach. It's just get it done because it's so important. If you host coach effectively, you can always count on having the numbers of shows that you want. My goal is to have 10 to 12 every single month, knowing that some are going to cancel, so that I do at least 8 every month. And this month, my show average is right around that $1,000 per party. Okay, national average is $670 now. So as long as I'm going to go out, I want to make $200, $300, $400, right? If you're not doing that now, I want you to fake it till you make it. Tell people like, oh yeah, I have $1,000 show all the time. My hosts earn, $200 in free goodies, so that you're really encouraging them to book with you because you have that extra strength to your business. And then it will come along. You fake it till you make it, and that's how you get there. Okay, so going forward now, November and December and January. What you want to be focusing on moving forward is booking those 3 months. You want to be looking at January and cooking all the way through the month of December. So what's your opinion about that? December, you want to be doing parties all the way through the week of Christmas and New Year's? What's your opinion about that? Anybody?
Wouldn't we want to do parties all the time?
You definitely want to do parties all the time. Absolutely. There's sometimes some folks. Is that a question for us? Or is that your one, Jenny?
No, that's Jim asking me a question.
Okay, got it. Used to be the rule of thumb was we would race through the middle of December, and there's always this date where they guarantee delivery by Christmas. It's like the 15th, 16th. Back in the day, it used to be the 11th or the 12th. I think this year the deadline for delivery by Christmas is the 16th. And it used to be then we would skid to a stop and stop for 2 weeks. Most Pampered Chefs would simply stop and then go do the holidays with their families. Now, what would happen if you did that?
January would get off to a slow start.
January would get off to a really slow start. It sure does. So, and I will tell you, my first year in business, I started in the middle of August, and I was rocking and rolling. I was doing these $1,000 parties. I was doing 6 to 8 a month. I was really doing amazing. And I stopped mid-December. I think I had 9 scheduled for January. I'm like, I'm golden. I've got 9 parties in January. Come January 2nd, 3rd, maybe the 4th, I started contacting my January hosts, and they fell like dominoes. Every single one of them canceled because I stopped. I'm like, they don't want to hear from me. They're doing their holidays. I'm doing my holiday. The kids are off. I don't want to bother them. Well, they all canceled. So my message to you is do not do that. If you've been with us more than a year, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. There's ways to stay in contact with your hosts and to book now. Get bookings now for next week, November, and all of December and all of January. So your goal always is to book in close. This is a good exception.